Saturday night, the UFC returns to the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas for UFC 276, featuring middleweight champion Israel Adesanya and number 2 ranked challenger Jared Cannonier in the main event. Let's break it down. Jared Cannonier is 38 years old. He's 5'11", with a 77.5-inch reach and a record of 15-5 with 10 knockouts and 2 submissions. From Dallas, Texas, Cannonier got his first exposure to MMA during combatives training in the U.S. Army while stationed in Alaska. He was discharged in 2011 for smoking marijuana and made his debut in Anchorage with a first-round TKO. After amassing a record of 7-0 with 6 stoppages, he made his UFC debut in October of 2014, losing via first-round knockout to Shawn Jordan. He bounced back after an 18-month layoff by stopping Cyril Asker with a series of punches and elbows, and then moved down the light heavyweight, beating Ion Cutelaba at the Ultimate Fighter Tournament of Champions finale. He then lost 3 of his next 4, dropping unanimous decisions to Teixeira and Blachowicz, followed by a first-round knockout to Dominic Reyes, getting dropped early with a vicious uppercut. 6 months later, he dropped down to middleweight, dropping David Branch with a counter right and stopping him with ground and pound. Then on May 11, 2019, defeated fated legend Anderson Silva, stopping him in the first round with a devastating kick to Silva's right leg, which rendered him unable to continue. He followed it up with a second-round knockout of Jack Hermansson, catching the Joker with an uppercut followed by ground and pound. But then in October of 2020, he lost via unanimous decision of former champion Robert Whittaker after a Whittaker kick in round 1 broke Cannonier's arm, preventing him from mounting an effective offense. He bounced back the following year with a decision over perennial contender Kelvin Gastelum, and 6 months later, knocked out Derek Brunson with a series of brutal elbows to earn a number 1 ranking. An explosive and well-rounded counter-striker, Cannonier likes to employ feints and leg kicks to draw a reaction from his opponents in order to catch them with powerful uppercuts and right crosses. Israel Adesanya is 32 years old. He's 6'4", with an 80-inch reach and a record of 22-1 with 15 knockouts. From Lagos, Nigeria, he moved to New Zealand at the age of 10, and at 18 took up kickboxing, where he amassed an amateur record of 32-0. Soon he began training at the famous City Kickboxing Gym alongside Dan Hooker and Alexander Volkanovski, and began competing in both professional boxing and kickboxing, compiling records of 5-1 and 75-5 respectively. He turned pro in MMA in 2012 with a first-round knockout, then won his first 11 fights by stoppage before finally retiring from kickboxing after being brutally knocked out by Alex Pereira. He made his UFC debut in 2017, knocking out Ron Wilkinson with a flurry of knees and punches, and 3 months later engaged in a close brawl with Marvin Vettori, edging him out with a split decision. Later that year, he knocked out Derek Brunson with a left hook and followed it up with a dominant decision over former champion Anderson Silva. On April 13, 2019, he fought Kelvin Gastelum, winning the interim middleweight title after a brutal back-and-forth slugfest, and 7 months later unified the title when he knocked out Robert Whittaker with a brutal counter left hook in round 2. After a convincing decision over Yoel Romero, he blew out number 1 contender Paulo Costa, controlling the distance with his jab and leg kicks and then stopping him with a vicious ground and pound. On March 6, 2021, he stepped up to light heavyweight, but despite being the heavy favorite, he was completely dominated by champion Jan Blachowicz, getting outstruck in the early rounds and then getting taken down multiple times in rounds 4 and 5, losing by unanimous decision. He bounced back 3 months later with a wide unanimous decision victory over longtime rival Marvin Vettori, and followed it up in February of 2022 with a close decision in a rematch with former champion Robert Whittaker. An exceptionally agile counter-striker, Adesanya is an excellent striker, setting up his opponents with feints and overwhelming them with a versatile array of strikes from all angles, and has been steadily improving his grappling game, boasting a 77% takedown defense. Will the explosive power and relentless pressure of Cannonier be enough to bring a middleweight gold? Or will the last style bender's awkward style and ability to control distance stifle the killer gorilla's offense as he continues to prove he's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport? Tune in Saturday night to UFC 276, Adesanya versus Cannonier, and let's find out.